Okay, so I am Rob Jensen. I have Paragon Performance Physical Therapy. Before I actually start talking about what I do, I want to do a demonstration. One of the services that I offer is dry needling. You might not know much about it. Essentially, we use an acupuncture grade needle for addressing musculoskeletal pain points, trigger points. And to show you how safe and how pain-free this is, I'm going to take this 40 millimeter stainless steel needle and stick it right in my eye. I'm not dead. No, I'm not going to actually. But I am going to stick it in the mass there. So this muscle can be really tight. It can be really painful for people that have like a TMJ problem, headaches. Right now, this needle is about a ½ inch into this muscle, tapping on the bone. Doesn't hurt, can barely feel it. It's totally fine. I'm going to leave it in my face for the rest of the presentation just to show you that it's okay. Don't be afraid of needles. You can still be afraid of needles, but it's not going to hurt. So who am I? I am Rob Jensen. I am from Green Bay, Wisconsin, you can see. I got my bachelor's in exercise science from Marquette University. I got my doctorate from University of Washington in physical therapy. I spent most of my time as a clinician in outpatient clinics, so just kind of your standard issue outpatient clinics. I mean, when you think of PT, that's what I've been doing. I've also spent time doing home health, which was gross. A lot of gross stuff there. I'm working, kind of doing moonlighting in a nursing home right now, which is surprisingly fun. And I've also worked in hospice. I have a little prison icon up there because I did a short stint in Washington State's maximum security prison system. Not as a con, but I taught a class called Watch Your Back to the inmates for low back pain. They thought it was pretty cool. So I specialize in chronic pain, post-surgical care, vestibular care, sports rehabilitation, strength and conditioning, and education. Those are kind of my jam. That's what I like the most. It's the most effective for me. And as far as diagnoses, low back, spine, hip, and shoulder, those are my jam. I think that the joints and structures are super fascinating. I love teaching people about them, and I love helping people with things. So why did I start Paragon? Modern medicine is kind of failing us. I think that's kind of, people are starting to pick up on how it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's not holistic. It's very disease-driven versus person-driven, right? So Dr. Mara, for example, is, she's white glove, she's concierge, she's whole person. Like that's the way that medicine needs to be. And so working inside of the medical system within the insurance-based medical system it turns you gray. I found myself turning gray, and it was kind of sapping the energy out of me and burning me out. So I was working in the first job I had when I got down here to Florida. I moved here a year and a half ago or so. I was working for a PT mill. So a PT mill is turn and burn. It's the therapist is working with 2 patients at the same time while they're documenting. And basically what happens is patients go in, and then money and 3-star Google reviews come out the other end. It's not a great way of taking care of people, but they have to do it because the insurance-based model of healthcare for physical therapy is not very profitable. So they have to make up for that with volume. And so a lot of times you're going to be spending your time on a bike. The therapist isn't going to be watching you. You're going to be using hot packs, cold packs, passive interventions. They give you those like weak, noodly lasagna stretchy band things. It'll start the ball rolling, but it's not going to get you where you want to go. It's not going to get you strong enough because it doesn't challenge your tissues enough to force healing, to force tissue remodeling. So cash pay medicine is the new gold standard, and that's why you're seeing a lot of like the high caliber physicians, people stepping outside of the medical system, and they're like, I got to do this cash pay if I'm going to do it the right way. That's going to take care of people the best. And really, the cash pay thing, it's a question of value, right? So do you want an insurance burger, or do you want a cash money steak? The burger it's going to fill you up, and it's gonna fuel your body, but the cash money steak is where it's at, right? It's just a better food. It's a better thing to do. And in this example, the steak is physical therapy, right? Yes, we're not all following. And so the value of cash pay physical therapy, again, it looks expensive, but what you get out of it is you get actual physical therapy that's going to get you what you want, which is recovery. So you get a full one-on-one hour-long session with a doctor trained physical therapy. It's never going to be an assistant, because I'm not going to hire an assistant. between session access to me, right? So with phone, email, text, Skype, whatever it is, whatever you need, you let me know and I'm there for you. Sometimes to my detriment. It's hard to put the phone down. And I use a holistic demedicalized approach, right? So rolling your ankle can be thought of as I still have a needle in my face, don't I? You can think of it as a medical diagnosis, right? But you don't have to treat it like it's a medical diagnosis. More often than not, people are able to resolve these injuries kind of on their own without anything more advanced than exercise, education, good diet. And another thing that's really good about the cash pay model is there's no external pressure from insurance companies. They're not calling the shots. They're not telling us what we can and can't do. And so what ends up happening is that, again, yes, it's more expensive on the front end, but we end up having fewer, more impactful sessions. And what that means is that you're taking less time away from work, you're taking less time away from life, you're not driving to and from clinic all the time. And so it turns into a transformative service. That's the goal. The goal is to transform you into a healthier, less painful, more capable, more confident individual. If you're walking around and you're afraid that you're going to throw your back out, that's a problem. Especially if you're working in the trades. If you're out cutting grass, like you can't not trust your back. So that's kind of the service that I'm promoting. Right now I'm doing in-gym services out of the Athleticus. Hell yes. I'm also doing in-home services in St. Pete within a 10-mile radius, and then I have virtual PT services. I know virtual PT sounds like it wouldn't do anything, but my approach is mostly education anyway. It's not mostly, but it's heavy on education. So I can educate people, through the internet. I've worked with rugby players. I've worked with WASPs up in New York. I've worked with people in Seattle, and it works. It's really good, really effective. The way it works is this, right? So you pay for the sessions up front. It's about $1,140 for a 6-pack. Each session, I give you a super bill. That super bill you can submit to your insurance company, and they will partially reimburse you, right? So once you meet your copay, once you meet your deductible, typical reimbursement is 40 to 80%, right? Again, I'm not a network provider. And you don't need a referral for the first 30 days, so you can just show up, and then we can take care of the referral afterwards. I don't treat Medicare patients. If I'm a cash pay provider, I'm outside of the system. So if I'm going to work with somebody that's on Medicare, it has to be it can't be a medically necessary thing. I can't work with somebody that had a stroke right away, but I can see them afterwards. And same for car accidents. It's a pain in the ass for me to manage, so I don't do car accidents. Those insurance companies make it difficult. And best referrals are really people that are willing to do the work. People that are willing to spend money on their health and wellness, people that really prioritize that, people that are tied to the medical machine, and techs work best. Any questions?